Hey folks, if you're just now stumbling in and you don't know where you are, this is part 3 of a 3-part Kill Bill film analysis. Originally intended to be uploaded as one super long video, YouTube copyright was being a major pain, so I had to split it up into 3 parts. And this is the final part of the Kill Bill series. If you haven't seen the first 2 parts, I strongly encourage you to go back, check those out, and then come back to this video so you have the full context to work with. Just a reminder that you can watch all 3 parts as one long video on patreon.com/OrionTrips if you sign up for the $3 or $5 a month tiers. So if you like my work, please consider going to patreon.com/OrionTrips and you can get access to this entire video as one uniform piece. For those of you who are here after parts 1 and 2, thank you so much for bearing with me. I hope it's been interesting thus far, and I sincerely hope that you enjoy part 3.
She won, of course. She always does.
Nobody else will be saying what I'm saying in this video. I'm well aware of that. Kill Bill is a massively popular movie, and it is popular for many reasons. Most likely reasons I haven't touched on here. Tarantino has garnered millions upon millions of die-hard fans, and he is undoubtedly one of the most influential forces Hollywood has ever seen. He's a natural-born storyteller. His screenwriting is suspenseful, satisfying, and nothing short of masterful. It's why he's so beloved. Kill Bill feels like Tarantino's magnum opus. All his inspirations are on full display here. When seen as one film, with a runtime of 4.5 hours, it's hard not to see it as Tarantino's very own The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. A resounding epic to put all his prior works to shame. It's worth mentioning that the only other films of his I've seen are Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction, and by comparison, Kill Bill, to my rookie sensibilities, is certainly Tarantino's most ambitious effort, not only for the stunt work, mixture of mediums, and the sheer scope of storytelling, but for the true vulnerability that shines through by the end. Volume 1 feels like a more traditional Tarantino romp, well-paced, dirty dialogue, sudden violence, jokes that make you laugh and also make you feel bad for laughing. But Volume 2 feels like a departure, as though Tarantino had set out to make one type of film, yet as he approached the second half, he realized just how deep he could go, so he took it further, put more of his soul into it, bled onto the page a little bit more. Kill Bill starts off as a mindless revenge story in which the target is a faceless villain. It's fun and comic booky, but the emotional depth is found in Beatrix's sudden change of character when met with her daughter Bibi. There's a tender strand in an otherwise violent and ice-cold world. A mother who's lost her violent edge, now overcome with a desire to hold her little girl again. As I work through his filmography, this is the first time I've seen Tarantino introduce the idea of parenting and how it can drastically change a person for the better. Hell, we get a whole segment dedicated to Beatrix and Bibi watching a movie and sleeping in bed together. There's warmth and love here, and if you know Tarantino, then you know that's an unusual thing.
You're dead, Mommy, so die.
Oh!
Yet Volume 2 also showcases Tarantino's emotional confusion. He can't help but excuse an irresponsible woman because, internally, he can't help but excuse his mother. Outwardly, in the public eye, he's apparently quite stern with his mother, setting boundaries and holding her to a rock-solid standard. But when I see Kill Bill, and I see Tarantino run defense for a woman who was reckless, who slept with an immoral man and got pregnant by him, I start to wonder just how much control he really has over his mother. Clearly he holds a female victim narrative in his head, a narrative implanted by many single mothers into the heads of their impressionable sons. I'm afraid that Tarantino is a man controlled by his mother to this day. I only recently watched his appearance on Joe Rogan with Roger Avery, and in it, Tarantino makes a noteworthy remark about a certain scene from the movie Showgirls.
But when she beats the shit out of that guy, that's so fucking cool. When she beats the shit out of the guy at the end, the guy who fucked over her girlfriend and like beat up his girlfriend, and then she does these spinning roundhouse kicks and beats the fucking shit out of the guy. I was like, yeah, Elizabeth Berkley, go.
He's in his 60s now, and still he finds it so awesome when women kick men's asses. To me, that's a lifelong symptom of being raised by a single mom. He's learned to fetishize female violence, perhaps because his own mother was violent and it's easier to idealize her behavior than it is to mourn it. Or maybe fictional situations where women are pressed into a corner and need to fight murderously to defend themselves are reminders of his mother's victim narrative. He likes watching movies that corroborate his mother's victimhood. Isn't that what he did with Kill Bill? With this epic piece of fiction, Tarantino not only made one of the most memorable revenge tales of all time, but he added another story to the world that ran consistent with his mother's story. It's the regrettable result of being told lies and excuses your whole childhood. You learn to repeat them yourself.
No, kiddo. At this moment, this is me and my most masochistic.
Bill, it's your baby.
Kill Bill is manipulative. It leaves out crucial details on the woman's side of the story, and it largely excuses her altogether. As a whole, it's Tarantino making an argument that his mother wasn't in the wrong when his parents split. He doesn't hold Beatrix accountable for choosing to stay with Bill, encouraging his romantic attachment, and having a child with him, as he probably doesn't blame his mother for choosing to have a child with an unreliable man. He's still stuck in his mother's version of the story, but to his credit, he does humanize Bill in Volume 2. He makes the faceless devil a man with a face and a story. He lets it be known that there was some kind of history between them. Bill wasn't some demon from the sky who came to force Beatrix into his ranks before coercively impregnating her. No, their relationship was mutual. This sob story that many mothers have for their sons, in which Tarantino's own mother probably fed him, is largely shattered the moment that we see them by the campfire together. All of a sudden, it's clear just how voluntary the whole thing was. Beatrix wasn't kept there, she chose to stay. She wasn't a prostitute with a black eye. She was a grown woman with more freedom and dignity than a hooker. Flown around the world to kill human beings for vast sums of money, she lived an elite, if immoral lifestyle, and clearly she preferred it over any other life she could have had. It's why she stayed for so very long.
First question. Did you really think your life in El Paso was going to work?
No. But I would have had baby.
Are people allowed to change? Of course. Everyone makes mistakes, lives an imperfect life, and does things they're not proud of. But mistakes don't have to define you. You can always decide to become better, especially if it's for the sake of a child. I don't mind that Beatrix decides to leave her criminal ties behind when she gets pregnant. Is it responsible to bring a baby from a dangerous world into a safe environment? Of course, I don't hold anything against her for that. But, although we don't have to be defined by our mistakes, it's crucial for the sake of our humanity that we admit our mistakes all the time. Pretending no fault is how we lose ourselves. Good people aren't people who never made a slip-up, they're the people who own every slip-up. What I don't appreciate about Kill Bill is that Tarantino conveniently skirts around Beatrix's years of mistakes. Bill is obviously possessive of her and their baby. That doesn't happen simply because Bill is a psycho controller who can't stand for this woman to be outside his sphere of influence. Relationships are built over time, by two willing people. Beatrix consistently decided to spend time with Bill, to romantically tease him, to show him her good side long enough to make him fall in love. She slept with him and got pregnant with his baby. These are realities which Tarantino dishonestly skips over. Pregnancy is treated like a natural disaster, as if anyone can get pregnant if they're unlucky enough. But we all know how Beatrix got pregnant. It was because she loved Bill, loved him enough to sleep with him. And my point in this long-winded video of mine is to simply point out that she made a mistake doing that. Tarantino can make a supremely entertaining action movie. He can make boatloads of money doing this and become one of the most beloved artists in modern Hollywood. He's a man on top of the world, yet he doesn't have the strength to hold his own mother accountable, at least not where it matters.
But I have only one more. The last one. The one I'm driving to right now. The only one left. And when I arrive at my destination, I am gonna kill Bill.
Mother, do you think they'll drop the bomb?
It's ironic because, publicly, Tarantino would seem to be very much at odds with his mother. He's bragged about withholding his riches from her, holding her to her previous actions, and treating her accordingly. It would seem like tough love, like rigid boundaries he's put in place. He makes these grandiose displays, perhaps as a way of impressing the rest of the world or bumping his own ego, but in spite of these theatrics, I'm seriously unconvinced by Tarantino's tough guy act. Kill Bill is enough proof to shatter his charade. What is this film if not a saga that retells his parents' falling out? A saga that puts all the blame on one man, sparing the woman from any agency. Granted, Kill Bill contains details that paint Beatrix in an irresponsible light. At times, Tarantino lets some honesty slip through, but on the whole, Kill Bill is a defense of single mothers. It's an argument that women are victims every time a relationship blows up, and they are the prey to predatorial men. It's Tarantino desperately trying to weave a tale that makes his own mother look justified in her mistakes. His mom married the wrong man, had a child with the wrong man, and all these years later, Tarantino's defensive voice comes out. But she was taken advantage of, and he was a manipulator. In order to make his arguments convincing, Tarantino lies by omission. He drastically understates the role of the woman in the relationship and largely absolves her of any accountability. Albeit, there's a beating truth at the core of this film. Some dying voice of reason and honesty manages to crawl its way through the myriad of lies and manipulation. I truly think that, somewhere deep inside of him, Tarantino does want to tell the truth. But unfortunately, Kill Bill is overwhelmingly dishonest. You saw for yourself just how much untangling I had to do to reach any kind of truth. Tarantino can make every public display he'd like. Kill Bill is clear evidence that his mother controls his creative approach. She has a grip on his heart to this day. He's approaching old age, and still he boasts a taste in art that is clearly influenced by his childhood, by his single mother, who I speculate was violent. Tarantino was fatherless. As such, he's filled that void with many false idols. He loves TV and movies so much because they were there for him when his own father wasn't. Most men would claim that their father is their hero. Not so for Tarantino.
Like most men who never knew their father, Bill collected father figures.
He's claimed to have many different heroes, mostly film directors, people like Sergio Leone, Brian De Palma, or Martin Scorsese. His father figures, men whose artistic brilliance filled the void left by his dad, the men he worships like false idols. While fun, Tarantino's movies often feel, pointless. I find a ton of enjoyment in analyzing his films as windows into his psyche. But outside of psychoanalysis, what purpose do they serve? It's rather hard to say. The old Hollywood masters, such as John Ford or Frank Capra, were clearly guided by something higher than themselves. You could call that thing God. Tarantino, however, doesn't ever seem to be working for the pleasure of God or any higher standard. I don't think he can truly see beyond the script and the paper it's written on. His primary concern is getting the story right. Even if it's gross and horribly indecent at times, that's okay, so long as the story is engaging. Tarantino isn't particularly concerned with morals when it comes to his films. He'll compromise his own dignity for the sake of a good story. You could say his scripts become another false idol, something for which he's willing to debase himself and others. But truly, I believe there's one false idol of his that reigns supreme over all others, over his scripts, over his film heroes, one which he's frequently forgotten to mention in his speeches. A false idol he's convinced he doesn't worship, but nonetheless influences him now just as she did then.
See the pyramids along the Nile.
Tarantino is an example of a man who never grew past his mother's lies. A man who never properly grieved what an unfortunate childhood he had. A man who, sadly, I believe sold off a part of himself in order to forget the pains of his youth. A man who learned to lie and manipulate if it meant making his mother look a little bit better. A man who learned to compromise his truth in order to salvage his mother's image. To many, Kill Bill is an epic saga of revenge. A modern-day masterpiece drawing inspiration from spaghetti westerns, kung fu films, spy movies, and so much more. In short, a fun motion picture. But to my eyes, it's a sad display of one man's continual enslavement to the most influential woman in his life. His mother.
Maybe you'll be lonesome too.
Hey folks, if you made it this far in the video, I just want to say thank you so much for watching the whole thing. Stuff like this takes a lot of blood, sweat, tears, and time. And unfortunately, because of the nature of the YouTube copyright system, I don't make money off of most of my videos. So that being said, if this video was interesting to you, or if it added any value to your life, please consider going to patreon.com/OrionTrips to support my work. If you sign up for any of the 3 tiers, you can get end credit recognition at the end of my videos. But if you sign up for the $3 tier, you'll get early access to all new videos before going out on YouTube. And if you sign up for the $5 tier, you get all the perks of the previous tiers, plus the added benefit of being able to participate in patron-exclusive polls that help decide the topics of future videos. So whether you're looking for some nice perks, or you just want to support the work that I do, please consider going to patreon.com/OrionTrips. That's going to be it for me. Thank you so much to our members on Patreon. Thank you to everyone who stuck around to the end of this video. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out and take care.